God told me to listen. And as I sit there, I start praying, and I'm saying, God, what are you trying to tell me? And I start praying, and I'm praying, and I start blaming. God, why do these kids live like this? Why do they have to live in these little shacks? Why do I live so good? Why do I have everything that I want? God, why are the young men wearing girls' clothes? I'm blaming God. And as I blame him, I hear God talk to me. God tells me when they have, the reason why I was blaming God was because I asked him, God, why are they so happy? Why are they so happy when they have nothing?
Come on. That's good. Come on.
God told me when they have nothing, they have everything.
Amen.
When they have nothing, they have everything.
That's it.
Preach it, Micah.
That's it.
God broke me so bad. From that point, God told me, he said, Micah, you're going to preach this coming Sunday. Now, if y'all were in my shoes, y'all be saying, what are you talking about? A freaking 15-year-old is going to preach on Sunday. I started thinking, how is my dad going to allow me to preach on Sunday when I've never preached before? How am I going to preach to people who are 20 times my age? But God told me, he said, I'm not too young.
That's right.
I'm not too young.
That's right.
He told me that he'll be with me,
Yeah.
that he will speak through me, he will use me. As I sit there, I'm still blaming. Around that point, my mom, she's starting to come up to me, and I'm starting to calm down a little bit. I stop crying, I wipe my tears off, and she goes, what's wrong, baby? And I don't say nothing. I just stare at where that angel stood. And she, once again, she sits down right by me and says, what's wrong, baby? Didn't say anything. So focused on God. I look at her and I said, Mom, I need a hug. She gives me a hug and we're just crying. We're bawling our eyes out. Guys, I never cried like that before. I sounded like a freaking donkey. And as I cry and I'm hugging her, we're just hugging the whole time. I whisper in her ear, Mom, I'm scared. I'm scared. And she looks, at that point she knew something important in my life just happened. Something that would change my life. I'm crying and she kept asking me, why are you scared? Why are you scared? And so finally, once I calmed down, I started explaining to her all of the things that happened. And I said, Mom, after I was done, I have to preach this Sunday. God told me I have to. Now, this is something you don't want to hear after God tells you you're going to have to preach. She tells me, well, God has to tell your dad that too. The only thing that was going in my mind was, well, he better hurry up. Sunday's coming right around the corner. And, well, after I was done, we're talking, and guys, I have no clue what I was going to tell y'all, why I would be telling y'all this. Why would y'all want to know about this experience I had? How would this benefit y'all? God gave me these 3 words. He put these 3 words back in my head. Listen. God was telling me that, to tell y'all that, to have that one-on-one conversation with Him, to have that relationship with Him, you have to listen.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of y'all would be like, I'm listening. God, I love you. You're talking to Him. You're trying to speak to Him. But, guys, it's not that He's not talking. It's because you're not listening.
Yeah.
That second word, love. He told me that there's this one person in my life that I'm not loving like I should. I'm not giving her my all. That one person was my mom. Oh my God, why did they have to know this? But then God told me, every person in this room has that at least one person that they're not loving or they're not giving their all. Whether that's your boss, whether that's your kids, whether that's your pastor.
Come on.
Whether it's God.
Yeah.
That third word He gave me was be. This is where it hit me the hardest. God told me I'm not being who I'm called to be.
Come on.
Throughout these last couple of years, I've had many people come up to me saying, Micah, you're going to be a preacher someday. Micah, I see God all through you. Guys, I was running. I was running from that. I was running from God. I had my life planned out in front of me. I wanted to be an FBI agent. I wanted to be a CIA agent. That's not funny. I'm serious. And there's so many things planned out that I wanted to be. But God told me that I'm going to be a pastor. He told me. But I was running. But God told me, y'all aren't being who God has called y'all to be.
There it is.
Whether that's an amazing mom or father. It doesn't have to be a pastor. It's whatever God's calling you to be. But what's amazing to me is on this plane ride back here, there was 2 seats. Me and my mom sat right next to each other. And my Aunt Sherry got a seat, a couple of seats behind us. And usually this whole trip we've been sitting together. And while she's sitting by this man, and I could just see the disappointment on her face. So, a nice young man as I am, well, actually my mom told me to say this, my mom said, Micah, why don't you ask her to come sit in your seat? So I said, okay. I said, Aunt Sherry, you want to come sit over here? And the man's having to get up and sit back down and get up because we're constantly switching. And I kind of felt bad for him. I apologized. But she came and sat, and I go and sit by him, and I'm kind of like, I looked at my mom before I left. I said, Mom, I don't want to go sit by him. I want to sit here. But I go and sit by him, and I'm sitting by him, and he kind of is like, where are you from? And all that stuff. And we were told not to really talk about us being missionaries because they're really looked down upon. And so he asked me where we were at, and I said we went to Romania. And he said, oh, well, that's an exotic place. Why would you go there? And I said, oh, we're just visiting some friends. And he was like, oh, okay. But immediately he started talking about God. And I'm like, it was out of the blue. And I'm like, God, what are you trying to say? And I look at him, I said, I'm sorry. I gave him the whole story about we're not allowed to. And I said, and I explained everything to him, and he was like, that's so amazing. And then the thing he told me was, you need to follow the calling on your life.
Yeah.
But guys, I feel like God wanted me here to tell you all those 3 words: listen, love, and be. Thanks for allowing me to come up here and preach to y'all today.